welcome everyone. Glad to share our work on privacy perceptions of bystanders with visual impairments around camera-based technology. So I'm presenting this work on behalf of all my collaborators here. The first author cannot be here with us today, so you are stuck with me. So these days we are surrounded by all these kind of camera-based devices, cameras, security cameras, cell phone with smart glasses. They are very ubiquitous. You can see them everywhere. Imagine when you're walking on the street and see these devices used by other people to take pictures. Someone you are taking pictures. You don't own a device, but you are subject to the data collection by them. So basically, you are bystanders in this case. Then, as you start to think about the situation, it won't take too long until you realize two things. You are not aware of if your data is collected, and if so, what data is collected. And oftentimes, you also don't have any controls. So both issues may lead to significant privacy risks. As we're thinking about this question in the broader scope, especially when we consider people with different characteristics, we were wondering what would the situation be like for those who have visual impairments, such as blind and low vision. The privacy threats become even more significant to bystanders with visual impairments because they cannot visually discover the use of cameras nearby or effectively avoid being captured. So the literature has not really provided a deep understanding of BVI's privacy perceptions when they're around camera-based technologies, or whether they have any mitigation strategies to protect their privacy if they have any concerns. So I should also mention that our focus on BVI in this particular project is inspired by a few participants from our prior research who mentioned the sense of being helpless when discussing camera-based technology, which kind of motivates us to, as researchers, to investigate the issues in a more systematic way. So in this research, we asked the following research question. How do BVI perceive their privacy when they are around camera-based technologies? We conducted a two-stage mixed method research to answer the question. So in the next few slides, I'll talk a little bit about the methodological details and also some of the highlights in our results. For the full methods and the results, please see our paper. So the first study. In this first study, we did a survey to explore how comfortable BVI are in different camera use scenarios. Then we want to construct scenarios, and we come up with 3 contextual factors. All of them are shown in the literature to have an impact on users' privacy perception in different contexts. So these factors include device types, which has 3 levels, location, which has 2 levels, and a relationship with the camera users, which also has 2 levels. So here's the example of the scenario. Suppose that your friend comes to your house to visit you. Some of them using their smartphones to capture photos or videos. Then in each scenario, we ask 2 questions regarding their ability to recognize camera usage and their perceived comfort level. We included 90 visually impaired bystanders recruited through the National Federation of Blind, and we also recruited 96 sighted participants as our control group. Then we recruit them from the prolific. So we look at the data and then start to compare the result from BVI and sighted bystanders. So these are the demographics. So by comparing this, we find that in terms of their ability to recognize camera usage, not surprisingly, BVI can hardly recognize camera usage in all scenarios. And we also noticed that most sighted user can recognize usage in non-smart glasses scenarios. We suspect that because smart glasses are kind of very similar to your regular glasses, and they're more difficult to spot, even for people with functional vision. And in terms of the comparison regarding their comfort level, so in our study, since comfort level is an ordinal measure, we fitted our data into with a cumulative linked mixed model. Besides the factor we mentioned before, we also include the interactions that involves visual condition in our model, since we expect that a participant's visual condition may interact with other factors. So you can find the detailed description of a data analysis and all the detailed statistics in the paper. So here, I'm showing the results, which shows that we didn't see a significant difference between BVI and sighted bystanders comfort level in general, but sighted bystander comfort level is significantly lower than BVI in smart glasses scenarios. So we suspect this is because many BVI are using smart glasses as assistive technology, and they're more used to seeing smart glasses in their own community, so they might be more tolerant to smart glass usage. Then if you look at this graph, which shows the mean score of the comfort level for BVI and sighted bystanders, the scenario 5 through 8 are smart glasses scenarios. And if you do a quick comparison with other scenarios, the result from the previous slide seems to make a lot of sense. And if you look at the graph further, you can also see that participant comfort level vary across different scenarios, which means that different factors, such as the device types, device locations, and the relations, may influence their perception, their perceived comfort level. So we're curious, why that happens? Because our data from study 1 does not really tell us why. So we're curious, why were BVI's comfort levels impacted by different factors? So to answer this question, we did a scenario-based interview study to further understand why BVI's comfort level changes, their challenges to recognize camera usage, along with a few other questions such as their coping strategies and expectations on privacy-enhancing technologies. To decide which scenario we want to use to do the interview on, we selected the 4 scenarios from the 12 in the first study. Specifically, we selected the 2 most divergent scenarios, which represent the highest deviation in BVI's comfort level, and 2 most privacy-sensitive ones, which represent the lowest comfort level. We're hoping that our BVI participant can provide interesting insights given the variance in these scenarios. So we have 16 participants in total with a mix of low vision and blind participant. And here are some highlights from our findings. So the first highlight relates to the fact that BVI do not have agency to detect and avoid cameras. So for example, due to the lack of visual cues, they have to rely on other cues to infer camera users, such as audios, or sometimes even they have to overhear other people's conversation so that they're aware that they're around camera-based technologies. Then they also don't have ways to protect themselves. Oftentimes, as Alice in the example, by the way, that's a pseudonym. So the only way to protect their privacy is to talk to others. Then in cases like this, BVI generally will have to rely on their trust towards other people or rely on their goodwills. So as you can see in this example, the participant has to trust the personal connection with others who can hopefully accommodate her preferences. The other highlight in the findings relates to BVI's empathy toward other camera users who also have disabilities. So for example, as shown in this particular example, BVI have very high tolerance when cameras are used as assistive technology by other people because they understand the situation and are able to build empathy with other users. However, despite such empathy, some BVI's tolerance had a limit. So in this case, this participant mentioned that even assistive technology should not be used at very sensitive locations, such as restrooms. Some of other participants mentioned that you can use the cameras to help you identify the gender at the entrance of the restroom, but you should not use any camera-based technology inside. Then this also related to the third point, which you think is more interesting, is the fact that BVI showed no tolerance even for people with disability if they could complete the same task without camera assistant. So in this example, you can see if you are able to use a cane to find the bathroom, you should not use your smart glasses. Then the last highlight I want to discuss here is BVI's desire for equal access to privacy information compared to sighted bystanders. So in this example, what makes Alice not comfortable is not that she cannot see. Instead, it is the fact that she does not have the access to those privacy information while other sighted bystanders do. which makes them feel very uncomfortable. And we start to reflect on the kind of the uniqueness of the unique privacy perceptions of BVI. And we notice that their overall lower perceived privacy status compared to the sighted bystanders is mostly due to the unequal access to privacy information. They trust acquaintances and rely on them as a way to mitigate potential privacy risks. And also another uniqueness is that they also show a certain amount of empathy to other people with the disabilities. But just remember, those kind of empathy has a limit. And then when we try to draw some implications from our results, we focused on BVI's information needs. So basically, it is important to provide the BVI with information such as the presence of a camera around them, the camera coverage, the camera users, the purpose, to help them be more aware of the surrounding environment. We also draw some implications on designing technologies to fulfill such needs, such as devices that they can carry around that can provide non-disruptive, subtle feedback. So again, I'm trying to go through this quickly. There are a lot of discussions we have around the technology implications and then what we can do to help this particular population to make sure that they are more aware of the surrounding environment. They can make more informed privacy decisions. So with that, I'll conclude the talk and answer any questions.